I'm back. Rodrance for Black and White Network. We're going to talk about the Georgia election from 2018. Yeah, the last governor race between Brian Kemp and Stacey Abrams, because a federal judge has come out and ruled against Stacey Abrams and her Fair Fight group or PAC or whatever you want to call it, upholding Georgia voting law. She came out with a laundry list of reasons why that election was not valid. She never did really concede. And it's funny how that works. On one side, it's okay. On the other side, it's not. Isn't that funny? I mean, she brought up a lot of issues that we keep being told is not even an issue. So I find that rather interesting. By the way, she calls herself disenfranchised in this. Let's just see how disenfranchised she is. Stacey Abrams' fundraising continues to accelerate, swamping Republican Governor Brian Kemp and pushing close to $50 million, raised in 7 months since the Georgia Democrat announced her campaign in December. This was Associated Press, July 8th. So, yeah, close to $50 million. All right, Breitbart. U.S. District Judge Steve Jones, an Obama appointee, by the way, found that, quote, although Georgia's election system is not perfect, the challenge practices violate neither the Constitution nor the VRA, Voting Rights Act, according to a copy of the 288-page court decision shared by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. The Fair Fight Action, an affiliate of Abrams' founded PAC, Fair Fight, I wonder how much Soros is laying in the weeds on that, claimed in a 2018 lawsuit numerous, quote, serious and unconstitutional flaws in Georgia's voting election process related to absentee ballots, voter registration, and voter list management. The group acknowledged certain voting practices in the state disenfranchised racial minorities, but many of the claims had already been thrown out over the last 4 years. Now, that's the group that alleged this, okay? Not the court. So the group alleged that there was voting practices that disenfranchise racial minorities. We know that's not a fact. I mean, they call presenting an ID racist at this point, okay? So we'll understand what we're working with. But many of the claims had already been thrown out over the last 4 years, including claims related to long lines, voting machines, inadequate poll worker training. Man, we see long lines everywhere with ballots in voting. Ballot rejections, and large-scale voter registration cancellations. One of the claims left hanging in the balance was the state's, quote, exact match voter registration process disproportionately affected black voters. Jones shot down that writing. Here, plaintiffs have not provided direct evidence of a voter who was unable to vote, experienced longer wait times, and was confused by the voter process, voter registration status. So that's the thing. I mean, the Democrats are essentially trying to act like black people are idiots and don't know how to vote, which, you know, is in itself racist in all this, but that seems to get lost by everybody. The lawsuit followed Abrams delivering a notorious non-concession speech after her loss to Kemp in 2018, saying that at the time, the state failed its voters. That's interesting, considering how much trash people have talked about Donald Trump. Democracy failed Georgia. This is not a speech of concession, because concession means an acknowledge of action is right, true, or proper. While Abrams acknowledged in the speech that Kemp would be the certified government, she accused him of suppressing votes to achieve his victory. Come on. Lose with some class. Abrams pointed to Jones ruling Friday as a reason to elect her in a rematch this November. Quote, this case demonstrates that the 2022 election will be a referendum on how our state treats its marginalized voters. The Fair Fight Action lamented the ruling, stating that while the 4-year legal battle resulted in significant pro-voter developments, the group nonetheless was disappointed by the court's decision. Kemp said in a statement of the court ruling that Abrams, a well-funded national figure, we just went over that, who had been floated as a Democrat presidential contender, God help us all, from day one, used this lawsuit to line her pockets and sow the distrust in democratic institutions and build their own celebrity. So in other words, she used all this stuff involving voting and the discourse to make herself into a bit of a Democratic celebrity, a grifter. Judge Jones' ruling exposes this legal effort for what it really is, a tool wielded by politicians hoping to wrongfully weaponize the legal system to further her own political goals. Kemp cited in the law last year the state's high-profile Election Integrity Act, that is the Jim Crow 2.0 law that Biden was talking about, that literally saw record voter turnouts and completely was discounted and dismissed. I mean, there was no factual basis of that being racist at all, and it was proven by the turnout of the votes. I mean, that just is what it is. High-profile Election Integrity Act, despite vehemently opposition from Abrams, other prominent Democrats, and their corporate allies. That's the one where Major League Baseball decided to pull out of Georgia because of the new voter integrity law. And now we found out that like mail-in balloting and all these other things, there's been a massive influx of votes. It's like a record voting amount of people that's voted at this point. I mean, they have been statistically disproven that Election Integrity Act had any negative influence on voting whatsoever. Look, people of all races realize you should show a voter ID. All right? If you've got any common sense at all, you should have to prove who you are to vote in an election in this country or county or state or anywhere else. That's just the way it is. It's funny. She didn't want to accept this. She didn't want to accept the results in all of this, but yet they'll get on TV. They won't even bring this up, most likely the mainstream media, but they'll run their mouth about you-know-who and everything that went on in the shenanigans in 2020. That's the way this works. I mean, you want to talk about disproportionate? How about media coverage and things like that? So, Stacey Abrams, you lost again. Tell me what you think. Black and White Network supporters disenfranchised. $50 million in campaign donations. Like I said, there's a Soros laying in the weeds somewhere. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.